Live from Detroit, Michigan, this is the Honestly Sis Podcast, newsletter edition. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome back and welcome if you are new to the podcast. My name is Honest Am. I am the creator and writer of the Honestly Sis newsletter, a bi-weekly newsletter and weekly podcast that is geared towards people who are truly trying to get their shit together. Before we get into this week's newsletter, we're going to get into just a little bit of housekeeping. And so, as you know, this is the independently owned and operated podcast in space. If you love what you hear and you would love to support energetically, please share this podcast to your favorite social media timeline. And if you want to help support financially, you can donate at www.honestlysis.com, or you can join our Substack named Honestly Sis. Also, if you are interested in knowing what I'm up to nowadays, you can always check out the new season of Honestly Sis by subscribing to our mailing list at www.honestlysis.com or subscribing to our YouTube channel at the same name. Remember, guys, without you, there's no me. So please get the word out there, because regardless of what social media tries to tell us, word of mouth is still the most powerful thing there is. So help me out. Let's spread the word. And let's go ahead and get to this week's episode. This week's episode is entitled The Truth Is. Truth is, I really want to let you go. Truth is. Y'all remember that song? Anyways. I'm showing my age. Anyway, so the article is called Truth Is. And our quote this week comes from Jay-Z, A Dream. And it says, "Nobody built like you. You design yourself."
Drew Prince music.
I am a planner. It is a term I now use for writing. I have spent hours outlining every twist and turn of my novel before I even started writing. After my horrible first draft, I vowed to always know where my story was headed. I would be a plotting author. But up until a couple of years ago, I applied this very same mindset to life. At the tender age of 17, I had life all mapped out. I had everything planned down to an engagement ring, possible wedding dates, and a romantic proposal. But when I reached undergrad, I had no engagement ring, no college sweetheart, and an overwhelming anxiety to start my new career. Adulting taught me quickly I didn't know a damn thing about life. Listening to podcasts has been a true godsend. It's almost like God created podcasts to save me from myself. They have become its own form of therapy because they allow me to see myself reflected in others. While listening to podcasts, I get to step back and see situations from a different point of view, be it good, bad, or a little crazy. This practice has allowed me to break false truths, correct misguided ideologies, and develop new truths. My favorite podcast tends to fall into a few categories. 1, they tell stories about people's lives. 2, their career paths. Or 3, they provide me with tools to help navigate my journey. Podcast has helped me navigate my quarter life crisis because it was proof that I wasn't alone in my experience. For example, the biggest new truth I learned was that the path to my best life will not always be straight and narrow. For many, our journey will take twists and turns. For others, it will be like a head-on collision. Every single choice is leading us down the road to our best life, so there's no need to regret choices of the past. I also learned that when you're willing to change and develop new truths, you're never stuck or trapped. Here are 5 new truths that podcasts has helped me learn. 1, it's good to have a vision for your life, but timelines ultimately lead to disappointments. During a marathon listen of the My Leaks podcast, I noticed a common theme. Most of the women had a vision for how they wanted their life to go, but they didn't put a timeline or deadline on it. They also didn't panic too much when things didn't go as planned. They were able to be flexible. They were able to be flexible and allow life to unfold in a natural way. then happily ever after found them. For longer than I care to admit, I thought you had to choose between having an amazing family or an amazing career. There have been times where I intentionally didn't go after something because I didn't want a boyfriend to feel a type of way. I really thought I couldn't have it all. Now I know love shouldn't stop you from going after your dreams. And if a man makes you feel that way, run. No one should have to die to themselves to live in love. The truth is, you can have it all. 2, be scared and do it anyway. While listening to Dreams and Drive, I noticed there were many guests who admitted they didn't know what they were doing in the beginning. But by doing the work, they found a way to make things happen. Some of their businesses started out as solutions to a problem, while others were just a passion project. The common denominator was action. Each one of these people took steps to make their dreams come true. This taught me it's okay to not know everything on day 1 or day 101. The truth is that by taking the first step towards your dream is better than constantly thinking about it and doing nothing at all. One can only truly learn by doing. 3, chase the feeling. The Call by Erica Simons Williams is one of my favorite podcasts of all times. It has taught me your passion is not always going to be spelled out. It also may not even be what you think it is, but it will always feel right. Your brain will overthink things, but your gut will never lead you astray. 10 years ago, if you would have told me I would be writing a book or a newsletter, or even having this podcast, I would have laughed at you. While writing has always been something I did for comfort and to be heard, never in a million years did I ever think I could do it for a living. It wasn't until I hit rock bottom that I noticed that writing wasn't just fun, but it felt good, really good. Now I can't picture myself doing things differently. I have learned to embrace the feeling and accept that writing is my purpose. I truly believe that I was put on this earth to be a storyteller, and I'm going to spend the rest of my life trying to make it happen. Besides, T.D. Jakes once said, when you are purpose-driven, profit will follow. When you are profit-driven, you will always be hustling. Y'all know I ain't no hustler. Number 4, God will always make a way. One day while listening to Oprah Super Soul's conversations, I had an aha moment. God is real. Have you ever heard a success story and a person is like, yeah, I don't know, things just start falling in place? That's God. I have spent so much time worrying about what I didn't have that I never stopped and truly looked at what was right in front of me. Remember, I told you I thought I had to move out of state and go back to school to make my dreams come true? Clearly, I didn't do those things. Instead, I got on my knees in the on-call room and prayed to God. My book came to me a few weeks later, and I have been trusting God ever since. When I began to work on bringing this book to life, resources, people, and opportunities just seemed to drop into my life. Number 5, what I know for sure is that 9 times out of 10, the things that you think you need to get started can be found for cheap or free. The person you think you need to hire can actually be you until you get to a place where you can hire someone. With Google and YouTube University, anything is possible. The truth is, the idea of not having something or someone or needing someone outside of you is just an excuse. You have everything within you to make your dreams come true. You simply have to believe that is true. When I realized no one is going to give me anything, I began to learn things. The moment I said fuck it and I started surprising myself. If you have never surprised yourself before, let me be the one to tell you that it is the best feeling in the world. When I stopped complaining, stopped regretting my major, and just moved forward, my life did as well. Now, every day, I wake up excited, not because I love my job, but because I'm happy to be working towards my dreams. As humans, we like to think that we don't like obstacles or challenges. We believe that we want life to be easy. But the truth is, challenges allows us to see what we're made of. It is through facing our obstacles that we see our true power. The truth is, we have the power to realize our dreams. And I, for one, am not going to stop until I realize mine. It took me a while to get it, but now I know for sure this is my life to build. What the world doesn't want us to know is that there is no such thing as an ideal age or an ideal time. You simply must do what feels right for you. right, beautiful people. So that is this week's episode. Well, this week's letter. So y'all like, what? Okay. All right, beautiful people. So that is this week's newsletter. It's all about the truth is. And you know what was so funny? As I was reading that, I thought when I got to I'm just gonna find it quickly. I thought it was interesting that when I was reading this newsletter, I said that my favorite podcasts tend to fall in a few categories. They either tell about people's lives, their career paths, or provide you with tools to help navigate your journey. And it's hilarious that I wrote that like literally almost 7 years ago. And now I'm having a podcast doing all of those things. One thing that reading this letter has taught me is that for one, I think I think all roads were always leading to me creating Honestly Sis the newsletter. Even back when I first began the newsletter, I didn't know that it will turn into this form of medium, but it makes sense. And it also taught me that as I'm telling you guys to trust the feeling and to follow your heart, that's exactly what I have been doing. Everything that I'm doing is because I genuinely have a love for that medium. So me writing a book is because I have been reading books since I was a little girl. Books literally have saved my life. And so I feel like I want to give to the medium that has given so much to me. Same thing with podcasts. I have been listening to podcasts faithfully for the last 7 years, and they have truly helped me in my life journey. And I guess it will only make sense that now I am contributing to this medium that has given so much to me. And so I truly believe that if you just follow if you just follow your heart and follow what feels good, you may find yourself giving back to those mediums and things that have given so much to you. And if you haven't watched the Martha Stewart documentary on Netflix called Martha, um, her whole pattern, how she became this first millionaire influencer, the original influencer, how she even became that was just following her dreams. She first started from, marrying her husband, and they did this month long vacation. Lord knows that's what I want to do, a month long honeymoon where she fell in love with food and gardens, and she took that passion and she created her husband bought a house, and she created this house. She redid this entire farmhouse from scratch. And then from there, she started catering parties, and from catering parties and doing events, she ended up finding her TV show, and then the list went on, and now she's the Martha Stewart that we know. Everything happened so naturally, and it really just happened from her just doing things that she loved. And so I truly believe that we have that ability to do the exact same thing by just following our hearts and seeing where God leads us, or the universe, whatever words make sense to you. And so for our deep dive, I want to just talk about, I'm going to be honest, I haven't really been listening to like my self-help podcast like I used to. I've really been more so on TV review podcasts, recap stuff, official podcasts from HBO. But there are a couple of podcasts that I would like to just give a little shout out to in this deep dive section. The first one is Truth Then Dare. Truth Then Dare. It's by Dr. Nandi Sharif. I went to school with Dr. Nandi, HU alum. Shout out to us. I remember meeting Nandi I want to say, was it our freshman year or our sophomore year? For some reason, I feel like it was more of our sophomore year at college when I first met Nandi, and she was just amazing. Like me, she started her collegiate career early, but she started when she was 16, and it was just, I don't know. Nandi is like literally like the smartest woman I know, and her doing this podcast, it just makes sense. First of all, her voice is like honey. But she actually just released her podcast. She just finished up a season, but she just released a podcast with her mom, and it's called Joy in the Journey. And I listened to that, I want to say either Thanksgiving Day or the day after Thanksgiving. And I just really needed to hear that at the moment. And so I'm recommending to you guys, go check it out. Truth Then Dare. I'm sure you can find it on all podcast platforms, which you're listening on right now. If you do go check it out, make sure that you let her know that I sent you. Also, if you go check out any of these podcasts, let them know that Honestly Sis sent you. They probably like, who the hell is Honestly Sis? It's okay. We gonna figure it out. Last thing, one more. I got two more. Actually, I got Yeah, I got two more. Recap Kickback. This is a podcast by Chappelle. And it was a part of let me not even begin lying. This is a podcast that Chappelle, who has created. If you heard of RHAP or Rock Has a Podcast, Chappelle is heavily involved in that. And now he's just created kind of a Black space where he talks about Black TV shows, Black creators, as well as Black pop culture news. It's just a really, really good podcast. He's recently covered the Cross season, kind of just gave you a teaser. I know he just also covered the Tyler Perry Black is Beauty. I did not watch that yet, but I will watch it eventually. But it's just a really good podcast. For one, they're covering Black pop culture. And I also love how they just put a little bit more information, knowledge, and energy into their reviews. It's not just a recap, it's really diving in deep, having deep conversations, talking about how it can apply to us nowadays. And I just love what they're doing. And so if you're interested or trying to find a podcast that covers TV shows and pop culture, check out Recap Back. Last but not least, Legacy Talk. This is actually a podcast from Lena Waithe. I was kind of hesitant to talk about this one because I'm like, why did we cancel Lena Waithe? And I still can't. I think we were mad at her because she cheated on her wife with Cynthia Erivo. Like, I think that's why we were mad at her. Nonetheless, I listened to a conversation. It's called Legacy Talk, and she has an episode on there with Jada. And of course, she's going through Jada's career, and that's what it is. She goes through all of these guest career, and she did Mariah Brackett, Gina Bythewood, Jada. And what was really interesting about these conversations is that she has personal relationships and personal connections with each of these people. And so she dive in a little bit deeper and also show her connection. And in that conversation with Jada, they were talking about Set It Off, and she explained without Set It Off, there would be no Slim and what was it? Slim, what was that show called? What the heck was it called? Y'all, why can't my words come to me? Hold on one second. Queen of Slim. There, Queen of Slim. So in a conversation that Lena Waithe recently did with Jada Pickett, they talked about Set It Off. And in her conversation about Set It Off, Lena explained that there would be no Queen and Slim without Set It Off. And it actually made me kind of forgive her a little bit for the ending for Queen and Slim, because I realized she was really just trying to make it ode to Set It Off, even though I thought that it was horribly executed. But it made me give her a pass, and I really, really enjoyed this conversation, this podcast in general. I recently just listened to the one with Gina Bythewood, and if you are somebody, I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm having all of these. I recently just listened to the conversation that she did with Gina Bythewood. And in that conversation, they really went in like so much detail, talking about scoring, talking about editors, talking about finding your lead for your movie. Also, Gina spoke about how your first movie and your first film to the world should really be a reflection of you and what your art and what you are, standing for. And so if you were ever interested in storytelling or becoming a writer director, or you just love that type of nerdy shit like me, go check that out. And as I'm thinking about that just reminded me of Ryan Coogler podcast, which I don't even know if a lot of people know about this, but Ryan Coogler has a podcast, and I haven't been listening to it on podcast platforms, but I've been listening to it on YouTube, and that's really why I haven't been listening to a lot of podcasts, because I have been like obsessed with my YouTube channel, my YouTube page. But Ryan Coogler has a podcast called In Proximity, and it is all a part of his network, Proximity Media. And in that, he's having conversations with different writer, directors, actors. The conversations that I've listened to was Jordan Peele, and his conversation that he also did with Cord Jefferson. Cord Jefferson is the one who just won a Oscar for an original adapted film with American Fiction. And it was just so great to listen to him and Cord conversation And then there was another one that he just did with Michael B. Jordan. Of course, like, their connection, just learning how they built their brotherhood and just getting that peek behind the door. It has just been amazing. And the last but not least, the last podcast I will leave you with is Angie Martinez in real life. First of all, y'all, Angie Martinez is doing what I want to do. Like literally, she has been kind of, I haven't listened to her lately, but I feel like her last couple of episodes, she's been getting away from those like questions, like, what do you think happened when we were going to die? And like, I want her to get back into that. But Angie Martinez in real life podcast, like I was watching it like religiously. I kind of fell off on it a little bit, but she's also recently interviewed Ryan Coogler. She did a very good podcast with JT. Actually made me look at her completely differently. She has Lauren, oh my God, why am I blanking on everybody's name? Hold on, let me say. She did one with Kim Kardashian, Melissa Ford, Sarah Jakes Robinson, Lauren London. Like, she has interviewed all the heavy hitters, and it is just such a good podcast. So if you're interested in something, or if you like podcasts like that, I would definitely check that out. And last but not least, I want to leave you guys with something just fun. I've been listening to Scam Goddess. I actually believe that this podcast is going to get turned into a TV show soon. And it's just literally a comedian. Her name is Lacey. And she brings other comedians on, and they talk about their relationship with scam and crime, and just tells very funny crime stories. And so if you want to go listen to that and get a little kiki, check it out. She has an episode with Kid Fury that I absolutely love. And another one with, is it Danielle? Y'all, I don't know why I can't remember nobody's name right now, but that's another good fun podcast. And so that will wrap up our deep dive section. Go check out these podcasts: Truth Then Dare, Recap Kickback, Legacy Talk, Ryan Coogler's In Proximity, Angie Martinez in Real Life, and a bonus, Scam Guys. All right. So let's go ahead, wrapping up this episode. I do want to go ahead and do a little bit of a praise report. I happened to check the downloads, and we have 401 downloads. Like, let me just go find some media. Hold on. Where the clap's at? 401. 401. 401. Yes, give it to me. Give it to me. 401 downloads. I don't even know 104 people. And I know that it's not me downloading it, because I can't even do it 401 times. So whoever you are, thank you. And if it is 401 people out here listening to this, review the podcast. Do it so that we can get more people on board. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. Remember, if you want to know what I'm up to nowadays, or you're interested in knowing what's going on in my life, make sure that you subscribe to the Honestly Sis newsletter at www.honestlysis.com. If you want to help support this show, please share this episode to your favorite social media timeline. If you would like to help financially, become a member on Substack, or you can donate at www.honestlysis.com. Make sure that you please leave a review, because we want to get this podcast growing. We want to start the Honest Nation. Okay. Last but not least, I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear some feedback. So if you want to have any comments, questions, or concerns about this episode, please send me a podcast. Please send me an email at honestlysis@gmail.com, and I will promise to get back at you. Also, last thing, please make sure you're subscribing to our YouTube page. I'm about to start our new TGIF Friday Night Live, where we're going to talk about hot topics, the best thing I read that week, and do a little bit of a praise report. I will allow the first 10 people to send me an email, to give them the link so that they can join the show live, where you can ask me to pull a card for you, or we can just talk about how did your week go. All right, guys. Until we meet again, dream them dreams. Never let the internet rush you, and never forget there is only one you, and that is your superpower. Be good to yourself. And if you have the capacity, be good to somebody else. Thank you so much for helping my dreams come true. Now get your ass out there and work on your own. All right? Meet you at the top. Talk to you